Okay, so hello, what's going on? I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro because this thing's pretty much been out for, I don't know, literally over a year at this point, maybe like a year and a couple weeks. And with that time, I literally sort of assumed that the honeymoon period would have sort of ended with this console by now, but I've only sort of just started loving it or enjoying it more over time, which sort of doesn't really make sense. And just to be clear as well, this isn't just about the PlayStation 5 Pro because I also still own the OG PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Slim, and a lot of what this video is about goes towards those as well. Now, this whole video is by no means just the end-all be-all when it comes down to gaming, and frankly, I don't personally really carry any sort of allegiance, meaning I love my Xbox Series X and I love my Nintendo Switch too, and yes, I still play a good chunk of games on my PC, so I never really understand the whole console wars or PC versus console and all that stuff. I just love gaming regardless, so I hope I'm making that clear in this video. I'm also not really trying to convince you to buy a PlayStation. This is just my take on the whole thing, as well as sort of my current take on gaming as well. In reality though, honestly, somehow this system that's literally objectively worse than my RTX 4090 PC in pretty much every single way on paper still sort of gives me more value in terms of how my lifestyle currently is and how it's sort of evolved over the last couple of years. Over the last like 5 years or so, I've become a dad of two, meaning in general, I've just got way less time to game overall. I've also recently completed my accounting designation over top working as an accountant for my 9 to 5. And of course, I started this YouTube channel, so naturally, I don't have a lot of time when it comes down to gaming. With all that, the reason why that's relevant is because, embarrassingly, I spend anywhere between 12 to 14 hours a day, sometimes more with a mouse and keyboard at a desk setup. So for myself, when it comes down to the end of a long day at least, I've just begun to place a little bit more value in simply picking up a controller, melting into my couch, or even my desk and chair setup, and just gaming or watching something, whatever it might be. Naturally, as well, I mentioned it, I fully understand consoles are not going to be as powerful or as versatile as PC. I know a lot of PC gamers love to just dunk on console and say, I can build a cheaper PC for the same price as a PlayStation. Great for you. I simply just don't care. I just find the consoles are, again, more personally better suited for myself right now. If I want to play my gaming PC, I'll play my gaming PC. I still got it for the times I want to. Otherwise, I'll just play my console because I'm happy to do so. At its core though, still the PlayStation 5 and the PS5 Pro at least do far less than a PC, which is actually a huge reason why I actually love it in the first place, which I'll sort of talk about in a bit. Still, for myself in this case at least, I just simply want to game, and this system lets me do it within a few button clicks, so I really dig that. The best part is as well, the overall gaming experience, yes, even compared to PC, is still largely uncompromising, which is why there's still an appeal for game consoles like this one. The fact that this can give me up to 4K at 120 Hz is kind of unreal, actually, especially since this can be had for about like $750 or so, sometimes less if you're buying used market or if you get some sort of trade-in. $750, while yeah, it is still expensive, really isn't bad in the overall scheme of trying to get yourself into gaming. And I know that people still love to sort of point out that this isn't really native 4K compared to what you would get in some other systems and stuff, but I can truly say their new PlayStation upscaling, or whatever the hell it's called, PSSR, is quite actually impressive. And when it comes down to giving me that 4K gaming experience, I still really enjoy it. And I will say, as like a lover of gaming in general, between the regular PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, this is still going to be a little bit better than those two in terms of the performance. So whatever sort of brings this closer to the whole PC gaming graphical experience, I'm all for it. And somehow, as games come and go, I'm still sort of really enjoying Marvel Rivals, especially since it's cross-platform and stuff. This is just a game I've been playing a little bit more recently. It's one of those few games that I can sort of somehow haggle a bunch of 30-something-year-old dudes together every couple months or so and actually enjoy some rounds online together, so I really do appreciate that. What it does for me, at least, is still just a simple ease of use, really, and as somebody who was a PC-only gamer for about an entire decade or more, I really just appreciate the small things like having Discord integration, all while my music is still playing through Apple Music or Solify, all while I'm still gaming, which used to sort of just be a PC-only thing, so I really dig that it's available on console as easy as it is. Now, where all this matters at all for myself at least is just simply the plug and play aspect. I truly don't have to mess with any settings whatsoever. There's no driver updates, there's no BIOS warnings that I get on my PC that I currently have and I don't know how to get rid of it. There's none of that on the console, so again, I just appreciate the ease of use. Currently, with how limited time I have, that is tangible value, benefit out of it from my literal everyday. So yeah, just something I thought I'd mention. Now with that, not everything's perfect. There's a lot of things not really perfect with this console, frankly, but I'm finding it harder to justify PlayStation Plus. The last time I spoke about this console, I said it's still a great value. They just keep bumping up the price. I actually didn't resubscribe, just so I'm completely transparent. I canceled my PlayStation Plus, I let it run out, and I've actually gone back to buying my games physically. The reason why it's not as valuable for me at least is because I can't just crush through game after game after game. I sit on a single game for like literally an entire year. So that's why I can't personally find value in PlayStation Plus. For a lot of people, if you wanted to have the whole digital blockbuster on your system, PlayStation Plus is pretty decent in terms of value because you get a hell of a lot of games for the one annual price, whatever the hell it is where you live. In Canada, I think it's like 200 and something bucks, which is kind of pricey. Admittedly, I was once Team Digital with all my games. Pretty much all the games you see on my whole library are mostly digital, but I don't know, as I've really gone deeper into purchasing my vinyl records, for example, I started liking physical media, the collection behind it, and I just started liking my games physically. So yeah, is the PS5 Pro perfect? No, absolutely not. But coming from somebody who's really truly trying to, I don't know, slow down a lot over the last year, which I've successfully done so, there's still a lot of shortcomings with it, but there's a lot that I love about it. So just to make that clear, so if this isn't too much of a love letter in this video, one of the downsides I can find, I guess when it comes down to console gaming in general, so yeah, sure, the console might be a little bit cheaper than a PC. Again, this thing's like $750. I personally couldn't build a PC for that price with this sort of performance or graphical fidelity at least. But damn, the games are expensive, man. Like some of the games up here in Canada are like 100, 120 bucks, which is kind of bonkers. Again, so like I recently picked up Ghost of Tsushima. No, that's not it. That's a flippin' movie. I'll talk about this. Ghost of Tsushima, or Ghost of Yotei, rather. I picked up a used copy at a local game shop by myself at a steep discount. It was used. So that's probably one of the best things about physical media. I got like 25% off, which is pretty sweet. So shout out Kevin at Gamer Haven in Burlington. But yeah, when it comes down to console games, you're not going to see the same sort of deals on like Steam or whatever as you would physical games. But I've been holding out on getting that game since launch, and a used copy popped up, so it was the perfect timing. Now, to get a little bit more into gaming and media and stuff, in my space specifically, you've probably seen in pretty much literally every video I've made over the last year or so, I typically always have a projector on my wall, whether that's going to be for ambience, watching content, and a lot of the times gaming. So I do want to give a huge thanks to Valerion for shooting over their Vision Master Pro 2, since I actually usually play all my story-based games on a projector. Naturally as well, my recent go-to has been Ghost of Yotei on the PS5 Pro, which looks absolutely insane blown up on a massive screen like this. Easy to say as well, this projector is probably one of the best ones I've ever seen under the $3,000 mark, especially because you're getting a literal true 4K resolution, 3000 ISO lumens, which is super bright for a projector, a 15,000 to 1 contrast ratio with enhanced black levels. My favorite era of film runs from about 1988 through to the early 2000s, and those movies I typically like to watch have a darker, grittier vibe, and I can say these are handled exceptionally well on this projector. A little bit of a bonus for anybody gaming on here as well is that this does have a 4 millisecond response time on the gamer mode, which is pretty awesome considering most projectors typically have about a 30 millisecond response time, which isn't ideal for gaming, especially anything competitive. For the people who are also into films like myself, this does support Dolby Vision HDR10+, and IMAX Enhanced as well. So those movies and cutscenes definitely hit way harder compared to my TV. Again, similar to my PlayStation 5, this thing is literally just plug and play, which is awesome. Valerion is running their Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals right now, so the Pro 2 is down to about $22.99 in the US, which is about 700 bucks off the regular price, which is insane. And there are some other bundled deals as well. If you're looking to sort of kit out your whole space with a screen and speakers and all that, there's going to be some additional discounts. So definitely head to the link down below. I will have that down there if you do want to check it out. And thanks again to Valerion for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Now with that, to get back to the PlayStation, one of the things I have to say that I love about the PS5 Pro, or rather consoles in general, is just how portable and versatile they can be. Just the simple ability to sort of throw it between my TV, my projector, or even just my desk setup over here isn't lost on me whatsoever, so I really appreciate it. As of right now in this desk setup, I do have my Mac Studio, this LG OLED monitor, as well as my PS5 Pro, which has sort of been my staples for maybe a year or so. I might swap these in and out a little bit, but I typically just go back to this. This LG monitor has been my go-to just because it has sort of an all-in-one aspect to it, being that it has, I don't know, a badass screen, it's all 4K, the speakers are great, and it works really well with consoles. The reason I even mention this is because it pairs well with the PlayStation 5 specifically, because I am a little bit closer in a desk setup, so I can sort of pixel peep that fidelity for the times that I do want to play something a little bit more graphically intense. I'm not sure what it is, but something about a desk setup I just lock in a little bit more. It might be because I'm closer or because I'm also a PC gamer, but that's just my go-to when I want to play competitive, actually pushing rank. The PS5 Pro will cap at about 120 Hz on here, but I'm still beyond happy with how the image looks while gaming, especially considering the size of the system itself. Maybe one day I'll consider building out a super tiny 5080 or 5090 build or whatever the hell it is. I know people have found a way to do those tiny ITX ones, but that's going to be a different video for another day. Not sure if I have the skill set. Talking a little bit more about gaming as well though, whether it's going to be on a TV, a projector, monitor, whatever the case, it's hard not to love it since it really is just so simple and the image looks damn good. Currently in this stage of life, I find console gaming in general to be a little bit more relaxing. Again, it's easier to pick up, which is truly just about everything I really need when it comes down to trying to decompress. Don't get me wrong, I still do love playing Overwatch or Marvel Rivals on PC when I feel like getting a little bit more sweaty, or otherwise throwing down some World of Warcraft, which I still like to dabble on every now and then. But in general, recently at least, I've been gravitating more towards my PS5. Where I can say it's improved vastly when it comes down to the original PS5 launch even, is that it sort of bridged the gap to what I was accustomed to having gamed on PC. These systems, the Xbox, even the new Switch 2 and the PlayStation 5 and 5 Pro, they all have variable refresh rate and auto low latency modes, which helps sort of keep that insane, snappy, smooth refresh rates that I was typically accustomed to. So having that alone is a huge plus for me personally. That, and again, not having to always pick up a mouse and keyboard is something that I just like. If I'm working for 12 hours, I don't want to touch a mouse and keyboard. And the DualSense controller is flipping awesome, and it makes me more relaxed, I guess. I think it's between the feedback on the actual triggers, the tiny built-in mic and the speaker, and all the rumbles you get in game. It just takes the whole gaming experience to a different level, and it's tangible. You feel it in your hands, and I really appreciate it. Now, separately from gaming, one of the best things about this system as well is that it has all this other lovely, amazing stuff. Again, I love to watch cinematic content. I like to study filmmaking and stuff. So typically, I don't know why the HDR performance on consoles just seem to typically do better versus PC. So I actually watch a lot of the media, even YouTube videos. I'll gravitate towards my PlayStation 5 just because of how it works for myself, at least with a system like this. The things I really care about is going to be the whole UI, the applications, actually watching shows and media stuff, and just all those things you typically want in your living room or even your desk setup. Sony has sort of updated the PlayStation UI over time, a couple times, I guess, over the last 5 years or so. And right now it's sort of in a good spot, actually. To mention it, one of the things I appreciate about the system is that it's not a PC. Typically, if I am gaming on my PC, I'll tab out and watch something, or I'll check my emails, I'll browse Reddit, whatever the case may be, because I can. Those are sort of multitasking things that you might find a benefit. But there are times where I literally just want to focus on one game, one thing, one show, one movie, and not really get distracted. It's like, I don't know, the same reason I sort of use a dumb phone at times, because there's nothing on here. You can't get distracted by this if there's nothing on it. Same scenario with my PlayStation. Kind of weird, kind of pretentious, whatever the case may be. And it just hyper focuses whatever you're doing on it, so I dig that. And similarly to the gaming as well, the whole media experience on here is purely uncompromising, and legitimately, again, I prefer this in most cases. Each of the individual native apps are actually S tier in terms of how they perform. It's going to be the small things like Apple Music, which I frequently throw on and just vibe out. I'll color and sketch, or whatever else. We'll be in the same room and we'll throw on Apple Music. Going back to that disk drive as well, as great as it is for any sort of physical games, it's actually also incredible when it comes down to any sort of physical media as well. Apart from still trying to enjoy it for myself, I try and give my kids the sort of blockbuster, I don't know, experience, I guess. I take them to the local library. I try to every now and then, and we just pick up movies, games, and shows. And a lot of those, naturally, of course, are going to go inside the disk drive. A little bit of a tangent. Not a lot of people know this, but your local libraries, again, if you're a taxpayer, technically they're going to be free for you. They'll have a crap ton of movies. I just rented No Country for Old Men because I've never seen it, and I'm going to be watching that this weekend on my PlayStation likely, or my projector or something, and I didn't have to pay, and they got pretty much everything, so I really enjoy that. And again, it's hard to, I don't know, it's easy to forget just how good physical media looks when we're streaming all the time. So just figured I'd mention that. Now, whether it's going to be in your desk setup or on a projector setup like myself, or TV, whatever the case may be, the compactness of these systems are just so flippin' incredible, and I can't help but, I don't know, talk about it a little bit, because when it comes down to these setups, there's something special, at least, about having this in a living room setup. In my house, even over the last weekend, we played a ton of Astro Bot. My 5-year-old's addicted to the theme song of Astro Bot, and it's just those small things that you can't typically get at a desk setup. You can't really crowd everybody around your desk setup. You could, but it's not as comfortable, I guess. At the same time, desk setups are absolutely amazing. This is where I typically mostly have my PlayStation, I guess, because this is where you can decompress, you find your own solace, you can enjoy your own content privately, whatever the case may be. Desk setups are dope, and I just love the fact that you can do either, really. Overall, though, from a media standpoint, the console does an incredible job. Even if you're going to factor in the price of something like an Apple TV, which can be pretty pricey, if you factor that cost into your system, there's really good value to be had considering what this thing actually does. Now, I sort of mentioned it a little bit before as well, is I don't really chase, I don't know, specs anymore like I used to. I don't care as much as I used to about specs. Even the PlayStation 5 Pro versus the regular PlayStation 5. This is going to be way better on paper, but that doesn't make the PS5 bad. I'm personally not really chasing native 4K or the absolute highest frame rates like I used to. Of course, I can still appreciate those things. I have a full-blown PC with a top-tier GPU. I love all that stuff, but what really matters to me now more than ever is probably just the experience I can get when I sit down at the end of a long day, because life just looks a little bit different now in my 30s than before. Becoming a dad of two, juggling work, studying YouTube, and whatever else is going on in my world, I'm really just not trying to squeeze every ounce of performance out of every single device anymore. I just want to pick something up, I want to enjoy my time with it, and that's what the PlayStation 5 Pro has been for me as of late. Sometimes it's the Switch 2, sometimes it's the regular PlayStation 5, whatever the case may be. I'm more so chasing the experience versus specs. I will say from a console perspective, again, that has to come down to the controller. It could be the Xbox controller, the DualSense controller. It's just so much more cozy, and I really dig it. If I have 30 minutes before bed and I don't want to fight any settings or updates, I can just press play on this system, get into a game, and that's exactly what the PS5 Pro lets me do. But yeah, this thing does less than my PC in pretty much every way, but the things it does do, it does incredibly well. And the wannabe minimalist in me just appreciates having a small sort of all-in-one package, which I really appreciate. I guess there's something a little bit nostalgic about that. It sort of reminds me of gaming when I was a little bit younger. You just turn something on and get lost in it, and you didn't really think about anything else. You weren't thinking about frame rate. You just play your flipping game and enjoy it. I guess this system sort of hits that vibe a bit, I guess. Some people love PlayStation, some people hate it. PC fans might think consoles are dumb, but honestly, none of that really matters when you're just a tired-ass dad looking for a small amount of peace at the end of the day. If flipping on a console gives you that peace in your day, then that's all that really matters. And this isn't me sort of trying to convince you to pick up a PlayStation 5 or a PS5 Pro or any of the consoles, frankly. This is just more so a reflection on where I'm at and how, I don't know, the PlayStation sort of fits my life, keeping things more simple. I don't gotta fuss with it. I just really dig it. So yeah, this might sound like a bit of a love letter to the PS5 Pro. Maybe it is. Either way, I really love it. I'd love to know what you guys think about consoles in general or PlayStation 5 Pro, whatever the case may be, what you're playing. Ghost of Yotei is incredible right now. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching till the end. If you took anything from this video, a like and a sub goes a long way. I appreciate you watching till the end. Till next time.